What's up, WWE Champions Universe? Welcome to the WWE Champions Podcast, the fastest growing podcast dedicated to the WWE Champions mobile app. I'm Axe, IronSheik84, along with Lee, aka Smash, and Great JMan Gaming, Crush.
Demolition. You know, for being Road Warriors ripoffs, they sure had some good music and some pretty good matches, you know, occasionally.
Oh yeah, well, Bruce Pritchard will argue that they weren't a ripoff, that they were original creations.
Yeah. Original creation when you look across the street and go, ooh, I want something like that. And then you just make your own. Well, what's up, J-Man? We've got a special guest. Sheik has guest hosted before with me. J-Man has been on before as a community spotlight, but first time as a full episode guest. So how are you doing?
I'm doing well. It's exciting to be here with my sometime nemesis, but most of time friend in my faction, Iron Cheek, and Rusty. Always good to see you again. Cheers.
Yeah, I'm using Rusty's account because he has the Zoom
Oh,
passcode,
sorry. Yes,
so
Lee.
that's all right.
Hey,
It pops up on screen every once in a while. It's like, this is Rusty Graves. Like, no, not quite, but that's okay.
don't worry about that, Jay. So, as a peek behind the curtain, the last time that a guest hosted, for whatever reason, I completely blanked on Lee's name, so we had to
That's
just
right.
froze for
It's
some
Friday.
reason.
It's been a long week, and yeah, that's all I'll say on that.
Yeah. Well, and on that, so we're recording this a day later than we usually do. And I've had a number of people reach out to me, which is awesome because it shows that people are listening and they also care, asking about why the podcast has only been on YouTube, hasn't been on Spotify or Apple Music. So, quick housekeeping, it will be back on there. Spotify updated their backend tools to where you can't use their native platform to upload anymore. You have to do some other system, and Rusty is in charge of that side of things while I'm in charge of the YouTube side of things. And so he is just trying to figure that out. He's also not on the podcast today because he's got master's degree work that he is trying to get caught up on. So a special episode today. We'll talk a little bit about the MLC and what's going on with these 27 updates, CM Punk finally in the game, all that kind of stuff. But first, J-Man, you get to go first on this. Tell me what it's like to be a content creator for this game, and what are you most excited about that's happening in the game or in the universe surrounding the game right now?
You know, I just make content for fun. I don't have any plan or any type of agenda. I just, whatever occurs to my little pea brain, I just go and make a video about it. Sometimes they hit, sometimes they don't. I don't really
Nice.
do too many things in the way of like loophole stuff anymore. Um, I'd rather make content around gameplay.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think as far as what I'm excited about is kind of what we talked about last time, which is everything coming out now is generally pretty playable and pretty good. The
Yeah,
days of like Pete Dunne and like Road Dogg are like behind us, right? All the free to
sure
play
hope.
stuff is pretty banging. The paid cards are all either very good to like god tier. So obviously I'm excited for new characters, CM Punk included. I was hoping for a WrestleMania Rock, but you know, whatever, can't have it all. And some would say there's too many rocks in the game anyway. I disagree. Keep them coming. But yeah,
There's only
no,
one or
I
two that are actually usable anymore. So, you know, I guess it depends on which scale you want to look at.
this is true. This is true. But yeah, what I'm excited for, I mean, if these 27 new character updates were rolled out last night, I'm excited to hear what the heck that's about because seriously, I've been really busy and I have no idea what you were referring to there. So that'll be cool.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we can hit that real quick. I mean, quite simply, they took 27 of the old characters. Most of them are in the PG, ruthless aggression, or reality era to kind of buff those out. And they just very specifically asked the question, where are the holes that people are going to find in Extreme Rules and Demolition Derby type matches now? And so every single one of them has a 1 to 4 MP move that will throw something, whether it's blast gems or row break gems or X break gems, and then a 5 MP move that will break all of those. So they hit for, I did 25 3-minute move sets today was what my day was. And
Totally.
most of them hit for about 1 million a turn, at 6-star bronze. But they're not meant to be, back in the meta in terms of, wow, this is a character that I'm going to have on my feud roster. They're just there to fill that gap for, man, I don't have anybody that can do row break gems, and I have to have them for Gemolition, or I have to have them for Extreme Rules.
Right.
And so they're there, and they're nice. Bray Wyatt, new face of fear, old powerhouse Braun, just a bunch of different ones that I don't think most of us have touched in a long
Okay,
time.
that's cool. Because I mean, in the showdown demolition, it doesn't matter if you win the match or not. You just got to
Right,
blow up the gems, right? So that's cool.
right.
They're giving you some tools.
And they do a lot. They're like 28 to 30 gems each of whatever type, and there's one of each type in each gender pretty much. And Sheik, I know your favorite, Charlotte Flair got an update. So or wait, was that my favorite? I can't remember.
I no, I so I will say this. So I actually bought all the gear for Charlotte Flair, or who I call like Charlotte Flair, whenever you
Charlotte, yeah.
do the bold. Yeah. So like, because I had heard from JMan actually that people were like, oh man, people are sleeping on on Showboat Charlotte, because if you have all the gears, you can do XYZ. And I played around with it, and I was like, okay, yeah, but then they changed all of the feud perks, and then I was just like, well, I wasted a bunch of faction coins on nothing.
Oh, and that hurts when you need every bit of those IOW gold tokens, because I
Yeah.
legitimately have still got most of them very unleveled compared. I mean, aside from feud promoters, I'm
Good
good
idea.
on,
Yeah.
except for missing the Undertaker, but that's another thing. Well, Sheik, we've talked a lot about on the podcast before how you got started, but what are you enjoying about being a content creator lately, and what are you enjoying in the game or not
So, I
enjoying?
mean, as always, I like showing my, some of my unorthodox methods. And also, look, here's the thing. One of my big things that I've always told people is, if you can't laugh at yourself, you don't have the right to rag on other people. So that's why J-Man and I rag on each other all the freaking time.
Yep.
And yeah, like I remember well, the one I can use recently was the Muscle Man the tour, where people were like, oh yeah, it's like, let me figure out how, it's like, oh, how do you beat the Undertaker with the Fiend, since that's what most people had. So I
Right?
actually own a couple pair of Zubaz, so I had fun, like, putting on my old like sweatband from when I had the long hair and the
Nice.
Zubaz pants, and dancing around a little bit while I showed people how to do that. And then what I'm excited about in the game, well, these revamps, honestly, uh, it's allowing me to, just like anybody, just like everybody else, have some usable characters out there when a CSS was required.
Right.
Now, are they going to be the best? No, but they make some people extremely usable that weren't before, and a lot of them are decent, or they're like, just they turn into a very OP character, like Vader, for example.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
You talking
I
about
got
Hall of
one
Fame, or you
question.
talking about the powerhouse?
Mhm.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, J-Man.
Oh, I was just gonna say, this is critically important. Were any of the Mysterios updated in this 27 characters? Because I know Iron Sheik is dying to see his Mysterios get improved.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anytime they can update go ahead. Go ahead, Sheik. You tell us.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, in last night's chat, so I found something out that, like, there's a certain word that's banned in the chat. Uh,
Oh.
but yeah, like, when Professor was reading off that Mysterio's required today and then Dom tomorrow, I was like, why am I having to use the weenie and the mask and Dork Jr. this week? And I was like, who did I make mad at Scopely?
Right. Oh man. Unfortunately, Thursday nights I can never hop on because I'm otherwise occupied with Taekwondo stuff. But Rusty and I did get to see the blog in advance and actually recorded our WCW before that is our weekend contest walkthrough before the Thursday stream. So I was really interested to see how people were going to react to CM Punk being announced. And I really wanted to see Professor do his trolling because he and I were on the main on Monday with Rusty, and it was April Fool's Day, so we put up a poster. This was all Professor's doing. He made it all and stuff of Pat McAfee, and we legitimately had I have Discord and I've got the little notifications in the top of my screen right there. And as we're unveiling this, I saw Discord notifications of weekend character confirmed. It's Pat McAfee. Here's his poster and stuff. And I was like, oh, just look at it. Just look for a second at it.
Yeah. So I don't know if you know that. Okay. Again, I don't speak to rumors and whatnot. Had you ever heard that CM Punk's actually been in the game for a long time?
No.
Yeah. So that's something that I've been told. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. I don't look. I don't know how to read code. I'm not the person to ask for that. But the people who are like the data miners who can and know that stuff have said CM Punk's apparently been in the game for a long time. It's just they finally released him.
It wouldn't surprise me because Lee, you may remember, but do you remember when Acro Dragon you could back end go into a menu and see Acro Dragon, and he was in the game like for years before at least a year before they finally released him.
Right.
So it wouldn't surprise me if there's a bunch of like hidden in-game loaded characters already. Who knows?
It's very possible. I mean, well, this game's been out long. No, CM Punk would have left by the time. So no, they would have had to have done it before. Well, anyway, all I can say is.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Yeah, you see, that's the thing. Like when people told me like he's been in there for years, I was like, yeah, but he was already gone like by the time Champions started. But
right.
I don't know. Again, that's what I was told. Now,
Yeah, it's interesting some of these kind of things though, because I don't get a ton of behind the scenes. We had one on the stream a couple weeks ago. It was like, when you guys make this game, you do this, you do that, and it was like, whoa, 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 we don't make this. We are the lowest level of that. It connected at all, but we do get to see some behind the scenes conversations. And the only thing I can say that I know is these conversations with WWE, where this might be true, they legitimately take months at a time, and WWE does have to personally approve every single character that goes into the game, and sometimes even changes that might happen. So they may have put CM Punk in there when he was coming back, and then just had to wait and wait and wait. We mentioned Rock, and I think I can say, Gerson was chatting with us, and somebody else suggested like, ooh, can we get Final Boss Rock? And he goes, approvals for Rock take a very long time. I was like, okay, that makes sense. You got to go through $7 Productions. You got to go through WWE. You got to go through. So I wouldn't surprise me if he's been in there for a couple months, but not years, I don't think.
Yeah.
Well, given he's a pretty huge movie star, he probably has a lot more control over his likeness than other WWE people, right? So
right. Yeah. And then you have weird things like how I'm not supposed to mention or use characters that aren't on the WWE roster, and then they updated Goldberg, 2 versions of Dolph Ziggler, and Furpo sent out a thing like, hey, are you guys all going to make videos for these changes? I was like, I guess I have permission to play with Dolph Ziggler again.
Nice.
I don't know.
That's awesome.
So, yeah. Well, Sheik, I heard you or saw on your Discord channel say you're not doing a lot of polls, or at least recordings for them, stuff like that. What content are you getting the most traction with right now?
So I always make sure to upload like my feud streams. It's like because they're always a lot of fun in my opinion. Like that's the reason why I do them. Because if not, I'd just be lying in bed or on the couch watching TV and playing. I just like sharing stories, telling people about like, oh, this is what I did this weekend, or oh, like, hey, there, I went to this Brazilian steakhouse and check out this cut of meat that has cheese injected into it. I find that fun. And then every once in a while, when I'm able to, I like to do the, hey, if you're having trouble beating this person, this is how you do it, sort of thing. The reason why I cut back on the paid polls is uh number one, I don't do very many of them anymore. And also when it comes to paid polls, I know y'all have talked about FOMO quite a bit, but I never want like to do a poll and have somebody out there be like, oh, hey, Sheik hit XYZ.
Right.
Then that means I can, and potentially spend money that they don't have or can't really budget to you
Right.
know to for polls, chasing something that they're potentially not going to get.
Right. Right. Yeah, we had if you saw the live stream when they released Bray Wyatt, we
Mhm.
both decided to go in and do the mega pull for Bray and literally hit nothing whatsoever. And not only
Mhm.
did that feel bad for us, but it was like, man, on the one hand, I got chats in the comments of like, thank you for saving me. I was going to pull and now I'm not going to. I was like, hooray. But then when I do get hits, because I've pulled Nation of Domination Rock, I pulled Shinsuke, and I've pulled 6-star Silver Devon on the main channel. And you always see people like, oh, I got to hop on and do some pulls. It's like, well, hold on. First of all, I budgeted accordingly. My
Mhm.
wife is working now where she wasn't before.
Yeah.
And, every once in a while I go like, for example, with the Rocky event, I spent about $90 more than I was originally planning to, but we also have tax money coming. So,
Yeah.
like I'm not putting stuff on credit cards, and I try to discourage the
Yeah.
use of, spending and such.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did go a little more than I wanted to on the last event, but I got the trick Ali, and
Nice.
Sheik and I did a video on the OG the striker Ali, and I'm a big Ali homer, so I'm pretty happy I
Nice.
got that card. But yeah, just go in with tempered expectations on your spending,
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Pull odds
Definitely.
are what they are, and the feature odds are like what 1-2%. Like budget and stick to it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and I totally agree with that. Yeah. I never do polls with money I don't have. That's one of the big things that I always tell people. Um, and yeah, and I mean, I don't want to get into like I'm not going to get into the whole discourse of like finances and stuff. Like, trust me, like I've been doing supply chain management for 15 years, and I held a senior position at like where I am. So like
Mm.
for me, like if I wanted to do $500 in polls, which I don't, by the way, I can do that. I can do that and not blink twice. But somebody else out there, you know, doing a mega pull might be the difference between being able to afford putting gas in their car or not.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Agreed.
Hmm.
Agreed. So you mentioned some content you guys have been doing together. Talk about that, and where can people find it, of course. I know we're going to drop those at the end as well, but you might as well hit it as we're going too.
No, you can go first, Jay.
Yeah, we had this. Well, you actually keyed on this. I don't want to reveal anything I shouldn't reveal, Lee. So I'll just stick to what we did, which was like Sheik and I did a few collabs. We were like kind of rating new characters, getting people's thoughts on that. That kind of got sidetracked a little. Went through some personal things and work things, diverting my attention from it. But I'd actually love to get back to that, or even with you on the podcast here.
Yeah.
New character ratings type thing is interesting to me, just to see what everyone thinks about a new character. It's always amazing how diverse the opinions are. Somebody will rate something a 10 and others will rate it like a 6. And it's like, okay, the gap shouldn't be that wide, because we should all
Right.
have a pretty solid baseline on what constitutes a good character nowadays. But um sometimes it's just a matter, I don't like that guy or girl or
Right.
whatever, and so I'm going to rate them down or up. But yeah, no, that I don't recall if we did any other collabs other than that, and maybe some rivalry stuff, but definitely I'd be totally open to doing that again.
So
Awesome.
Jay, I remember. So by the way, everything that you can find me at is IronSheik84. So Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, all that good stuff. But
There
no,
you
Jay,
go.
if you remember, we did a collaboration on I know when you found me on Showdown and then you recorded it and then I played you. I know this is years ago. And then also, you remember the Great JMan challenge where we're like, hey, if we can get up to 600 subs, that I would take one of the weenies in a mask up to 6-star. What was it? Was it 5-star gold or 6-star at the time? I forget what it was. And then so I went ahead and just did like a whole stream dedicated to it. And I put in sub goals, and then I took all three of them up to 5-star gold. So that at that time it screwed up my tokens and TP and stuff for quite a bit. Or no, it was 5-star bronze. I think that's what it was. But yeah, but still, I enjoy my collabs with JMan when we do them. It's been a little while, but they're fun. They're always fun.
Yeah. Well, and I hope we didn't step on anything. Rusty had the idea a few weeks ago, and we've just been sitting on it and kind of working on the background for what we're calling our power rating. And actually, that's what the Friday night stream is going to be from, now on, is as long as it catches and is useful. I mean, that's the main thing. Is it useful to the community? People care about it. But the biggest thing for it, we have the rubric that is beta mode. We're going to unveil it tonight. And you guys have seen it. And again, if you have any thoughts, however we can make this better, BDC, Bob, Rusty, and I kind of pieced together. But the big thing for it is we're going to go on the main champ stream every Friday night and open it to the community to say, what do you think? What is the usability of this character? What is the, and we've got the 5 different categories to kind of break it down. And then hopefully, we can put something out that people see and say like, oh, well, this character's a 20 out of 25, but why? Well, because they're really powerful, but they're not very fast, and that's kind of the thing I think has been missing for tier lists, is like any good. And it's like, well, how long do you have? Like I've heard Merrick say on his stream several times, William Regal hits harder than anyone else in the game probably, but he's just not fast enough for him. So he uses KO, the new Showboat KO, instead. And even though it's not near as powerful, the speed is, and so he can say, well, I like KO better than William Regal. And everyone else would go, what? Why? Well, here's some definable metrics around that. So I think it'll be fun. And yeah, you guys are more than welcome on any and all the collaboration you want to, help with that. Like I say, I think it's better when it's a community piece. I mean, sometimes too many cooks in the kitchen, and one person says, oh, this Nation of Domination Rock is a 1, and the other says they're a 5, and you're like, whoa, wait a second here. But we've tried to create some metrics that are objective enough for the most part. There's a few that, entourage ability, well, one person might say, oh, that one is really good. Another person go, oh, I don't care about it, because they don't need it. So, that gets a little subjective, but for the most part, I think it gets the job done. So you guys are always
gave
welcome.
you guys my feedback. Sorry, can I just check my mic? It blinked off for a second. I still sound okay right now?
Yeah,
Okay,
at least on my end.
I like what you guys did. You added some additional criterias around, like we just did an open rating system out of 10, and some people were rating it down for various reasons. I actually really like, because some cards legitimately are game changing coach or whatever, but not that fantastic to use in game.
Right.
And so I think what you could actually do, I don't know if you've thought of this or will do this, you could even live poll like your audience via like a survey mechanism, and just get everyone's feedback on all that criteria. It'd just be actually cool to see what the community thinks of some of these cards. I don't know what people place more value on.
Twitch, so creating polls, I still haven't figured. I just figured out how to raid a couple times ago. The first time we went live on Twitch on the main Champs channel, I rated DJ and then left the recording on, because I thought, well, I rated him, so it ended it. So
don't feel too bad about it. So as a side note, there was one of my there's another streamer, and I would have to look up who it was. I think I remember who it was, but I don't want to say like know who it was. But like I DM'd him, and I was just like, dude, like you left your stream up because you rated somebody, right? And then what happened was that like he was apparently like, I don't know if it was his girlfriend, sister, mom, whatever it was, but he was talking with somebody, right? So I was sitting there being like, it's like, look, like you have your stream up, and I was like typing out like what exactly she was saying. Well, it wasn't anything bad thing, mind
Right.
you, but still, I was just like, look, it's like if you think I'm joking, blah 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 blah. I was like, the female voice just said like, hey, like, I'm gonna go down the hallway, so like to prove to you that you need to turn this off.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm
Yeah.
glad nothing embarrassing occurred. Anyway, that's
Yeah.
good. It was
Right.
harmless.
Yeah, yeah, there's ooh, anyway. Well, let's talk about this MLC and maybe even just a hair bit about the last MLC.
Mhm.
How did you like the retro one, and how have you enjoyed this WrestleMania, MLC that's now almost over,
Mhm.
surprisingly. Went by fast.
Sheik, do you want to go or should I?
Oh, I'll go. So I will say, okay, so I know I harp on this quite a bit. They filled in more gaps on the women's legends side, so I was extremely stoked for it.
Yeah.
Very, very happy. I know this wouldn't happen. I kind of wish that they would have had just a month of females and filled in
Yeah.
every single gap and just called it a
Mm.
day.
Hmm.
That's more of a me thing. But no,
Right.
I thought it was great. The plus 99 MP thing, I think is like
Yeah.
extremely interesting. And I know that several people have talked to this, but it allows like free to play characters to be more relevant for a longer period of time.
Right.
And plus, I mean, it offers people a solution for every game mode basically. So whether it's a tour, whether it's showdown, whether it's feud, you have a character that you don't have to worry about MP trainers, and
Right.
you can set them up however you want to. So like I thought it was great. I kind of wish that they had picked my character whenever they had the forum giveaway.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I was really happy with it. And I mean, same thing this month. I think that things have been going like fairly well. Although this is more of like a side project of mine. So I know we always talk about like whenever they're like when a tour comes out or an event and it's not the way that it's meant to be.
Right.
So I've started keeping a tracker of that.
I've heard about this.
And so that like this is just like a personal project, just so I can go back and be like, what did happen at blah 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 point. And I think in the week and a half that I've been keeping track of it, we're up to 10 now.
Well, there's three today. I mean, I don't know if you've caught. They launched the Blitz and then had to take it out because it was supposed to be for Sunday. And then, anyway, yeah.
Yeah, well, here you go. I just for me it's more like a funny thing. Like
Right.
it's not to keep the task, but just to point something out. So 320. So like I started it on 325. So obviously remember at the beginning of the month for Road to WrestleMania, the Pro Pack wasn't working properly.
Right.
So I have that, and then the Drew Cody Blitz that wasn't working properly, the Road to WrestleMania tours that were blanked out, the Jade event, the store was empty on reset, nothing to buy, you couldn't use your medallions, and then the faction contest started late. The batch stage pass token was missing or broken. The Goat Showdown was broken. Damage wasn't counting awards properly, and then today the weekend pass was not ready when the reset happened. And then, of course, the aforementioned Blitz getting released that shouldn't have been.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, there's a lot to this game. On the one hand, I have a different role now, obviously in some of these things. But like, for example, got to use CM Punk last night, was playing around and just went like, wait a second, Triple Green, his finisher should be hitting harder, and looked, and nothing was his finisher didn't register as a finisher. And
Mhm.
so I could put Ali, and because now Ali does finisher damage, and put the green finisher coach or trainer on there as well. And neither Chad Gable nor Ali benefited. In fact, Gable was grayed out, and so sent that over to Gerson. Like, hey, he's like, you sure it's not a visual glitch? So ran a match without, ran a match with. Yep, and then they get them fixed. And so things like that, it's like live beta testing environment sometimes with it, but
Yeah.
to the same degree, I mean, like I say, going back to theoretically, if CM Punk was finally approved, I mean, they literally might have had a week to finish coding him, get him ready, even if they had the model completely ready, just because of the way the approvals work. So on the one hand, I don't begrudge him, but on the other hand, you're right. Botchamania of
Yeah.
Chicamania.
Yeah.
I love it. So, thoughts real quick, and then we'll transition into the world of wrestling. I about said the real world of wrestling. That would have been an
Right.
oxymoron. Thoughts on the two Chase characters from the last 2 months? Both females, as you mentioned. One, well, kind of both fill a slot, but did you get them? Do you like them? What are your thoughts on them?
Jay, I'll let you go first on this one, sir.
Okay, well, yes, I got Rhea, and she's awesome. I mean, turn one smashes.
Yeah,
People generally don't survive past turn one. Very good card, very strong. Was actually really happy with KO too as a free to play,
yeah,
just to mention. Last
yeah,
month, excellent month. I would say this month to me has been a bit more average to slightly underwhelming to me.
yeah.
However, I did get the chase. So Sonya, a very strong card. Um, Again, I'm tempering expectations because I think I might just have to run her as I would if she wasn't getting the plus 99, just to
Right.
really get a feel for her. Because right now they're all kind of OP because the plus 99, and that's going to go away. But she's a really strong card. I definitely think she's my best female striker. She's
Yep.
better than Bliss. She's better than Nikki Cross. So
Yeah.
I think both chases have definitely been worth picking up. They're both very strong.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Rhea, I was surprised. I was running for Flash feuds, and when Rhea came out, I went, well, that's nice, but I have Zombie Becky as an acro female. I'm not gonna run this one over Zombie Becky
But
because
not a
Zombie Becky
legend.
hits
She's
so
a
hard.
legend. That's the kicker right there.
Right, but once now, of course, the 90 plus 99 we have to account for and stuff like that. But once I actually ran Rhea in feud, I was like, oh my gosh, she is by far my fastest female. Like I was
Hmm.
boom, 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 done every single feud match that I ran her on. It was like, oh, okay. So she's my cheat code. All right. I'm going to be honestly kind of sad in a week when she doesn't have plus 99 anymore. I'm going to be like, oh,
She
oh,
still does about 19 without, and with the plus 99, it's like 26 to 28 turn one.
right.
So like, yeah, you'll be okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be fine. I'll be fine. And then with Sonya, similar. I was whelmed, but not overwhelmed. She definitely fits that spot because I don't have Roxanne, I don't have Queen Sherry, so I don't have the go-to strikers. Nikki Cross was mine, and she was all right. So a last question on this topic then. Hopes for next MLC. We don't know what it is, but it'll be announced theoretically next Monday. Um, hopes for a theme and hopes for characters. Free and Chase. Sheik, you go
So
first.
yeah, I would really like for them to uh a powerhouse female, either for for the chase or for the freebie. I well like and I'm thinking about like I said, when I say this, I mean this for the community as a whole, not me specifically. I know that's a big gap in a lot of people's rosters, like having a very powerful female. I know with the Piper Niven thing, there were like a lot of people who got her, but then
Yep.
there were some people who also chose to get plates instead. Yeah, I chose the Piper plate because I was like,
Yes.
I'll get Piper eventually.
Right.
Plates are much harder to come by. That's
Yes.
that's my rule of thumb. So I think that an amazing powerhouse female would be like I said, it on the chase and the free to play side, I think would be very welcome.
Yeah.
Uh, and then as far as like new people goes, look, I'm always a fan of having new people in the game rather than the 17th version of this person. So yeah, that would be just my thing. Anybody in particular that I can think of, look, I really love Tiffany Stratton.
Oh yeah. Tiffy time.
So yeah,
Tiffy
yeah,
time.
I would much welcome some Tiffy time. So that yeah, I mean, there's that. Trying to think of anybody else in particular that like I don't know. Just like I said, or one of the things that I know we always talk about, and I know you touched on this briefly earlier. Look, there's for people who are like, oh, why aren't XYZ in the game? Look, there are likeness lights, there's
Yeah.
royalties, there's who the WWE wants and doesn't want, there's factors outside like lawsuits and who's badmouthed who and things
Right.
of that nature. Who works at what company now, that sort of thing. Look, I would love an ECW month
Ooh.
with like a bunch of the old school ECW people like Sandman, um I know, like, I know Taz wouldn't be in there because of his
Yeah.
affiliations with other companies, but like
Same with
Mike
Tommy
Awesome,
Dreamer.
some of the favorites that I grew up with, I
Yeah.
would definitely love having an ECW month.
That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. J-Man?
I do agree with what she says. I think an ECW month would be dope. We do need a good female powerhouse. I think making one free to play for everyone would be good because the free to play powerhouses are pretty not
Mm,
good. Although, just to maybe give people a little context, April's been a little bit underwhelming when I've been tracking characters the last 3 years.
yeah.
April, Chase, and free to play. Not been totally game breakingly amazing after WrestleMania. It's usually a bit of a lower key
Yeah.
free to play and Chase, so we'll see. Just a fan of anything Canadian. Release more Canadian wrestlers and things, and then I'll be all in. There you go.
Well, my hope would be a tag team. Although Sheik, you accidentally threw up the sign of the diamond cutter, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I would love to have an OPDDP in there. And since they were
Yes.
recently reworked the Master of the Diamond Cutter, maybe we could get like the People's Champion or something version.
Mhm.
But anyway, tag team month. The last one I can remember was far enough back that I think that they could do it again. And I would say whether it's the what's his name, the Chase but Brutus, and what's his name, the Cannonball Boy that jumps off the top rope, Diamond Mine faction, get those two and Ivy Nile, or even if you can get some of those classic tag teams in the mix. That's when we got the Bushwhackers and Natural Disasters, as last I
Yeah.
really remember a
Yeah.
tag team month. We did just get the Dudley Boys back in the game, and I
Mhm.
think closing out this segment of it, I think man, we got the Dudley Boys back in, which, yes, they were reskins, but that allowed us to have them back in. We got Jade Cargill, we got a OP Steve Austin, we got CM Punk, that everybody's asking for in the game. We got Sonya, who was a brand new character into the game. We got Kyrie, who wasn't new, but they really did some work on there. And then they've even been going back in, like, if you notice, Austin Theory's face, except for
Mhm.
on the Trickster version, is completely reworked. So they've been
The
doing
face
some
looks great,
work.
but the arms are bigger than the head. The head looks like a
Yeah,
tiny Beetlejuice head on top of a,
Yeah.
a large body.
they're
But
getting ready for the
else,
sequel.
the
Yeah.
face model is much better. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I definitely agree.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's talk the world of WWE TV. Nothing big happening this weekend, right? Just the biggest WrestleMania of all time.
Yeah.
I don't know that we're gonna have time to break down every single match, but we can at least just give a quick like who's your pick to win, and then on a few of the matches we can dig down deep. And of course, the first one that's listed on the Saturday WrestleMania card, Sheik, I want to hear your thoughts. Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee versus Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio, one that was added fairly late in the game. Seems like just needs to give Dominic something to do. Who's your pick?
Actually, somebody actually messaged me today to remind me that it is Dork Jr.'s birthday. So
Oh,
happy
nice.
birthday. Yeah, so happy birthday, wussy.
So harsh.
Wow. Oh, well,
Uh,
who's your pick to win? Dork Jr. or Dork Jr. Jr.?
Dork Jr. Jr. Um, Look, the greatest outcome of this match would be me being the winner by Rey Mysterio finally, the We Need a Mask finally saying, you know what, I'm done. This is it for me. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna go away, and the only time you'll ever see me again is the Hall of Fame, and then that's it. I promise I'm gonna go away, and I'm never coming back again.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
JMan, thoughts?
On that particular match, I think they're gonna put Dom over. I think he's gonna win.
I know. I would like to see Dragon Lee win and get a good showing. I just don't, I'm not invested in Santos Escobar,
Mhm.
but Dominic Mysterio's legitimately been one of the heels of the decade, it
Yeah,
seems. But,
yeah.
well, another match that was seemingly thrown together at the last minute, Jade Cargill, Naomi, and Bianca Belair versus Damage Katarl. So, picks to win. Any thoughts? J-Man, you go first.
Well, I gotta go with Jade Cargill and her team because she's kind of newer back, came back in the
Yeah,
Rumble, etc. And she's so over. It feels like. I feel like they're gonna push that.
agreed.
Yeah.
Cheek.
I love Oscar. I love Oscar so much. But like I have to give it to Jade, Naomi, and Bianca here. Oh, by the way, just as a side note, going like to that last match, Dominic Dork Jr. really should have won last year, in my opinion, versus, his wiener dad. But,
Gotcha.
so that's why that's also part of the reason why I think Dominic needs to win this year. Uh just just wanted to add that little tidbit in there. But yeah, I really don't see a world where Jade and Bianca are losing unless somehow there's some chicanery and they pin Naomi.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. That would be the only way. I really don't see this is still technically Jade's kind of debut match, even though she was in the
Mhm.
Rumble. That's a different animal. And I know this is still not a singles match and stuff, but they're protecting someone. And I don't know if it's because Asuka got hurt, which is a very big possibility that's kind of reported on, or if they're trying to still give Jade some time. But either way, somebody's getting protected in this.
Yeah.
And I see, either Dakota Kai or Naomi eating the pin to make sure it's, not anybody that, needs some momentum.
Just a thought. I feel like there could be a work to have something happen between Bianca and Jade to set up a rivalry there because that's a
that would be
match
cool.
that people want to see. I think. I
Yeah.
certainly do.
I do too, but it'd be hard to build that right out the gate because who are you
Yeah.
going to have
Yeah.
win? I mean, you need to have Jade Cargill win, but Bianca has also kind of been floating for. I
Yeah.
mean, she needed to lose her title, but once she lost her title, it was like, what do we do with her? I don't know.
Hmm.
Just have her do big, strong stuff every once in a
Yes.
while.
Exactly.
So, okay. So then we've got the six-pack ladder match for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship. And if I'm not wrong, they have announced that the belts need to be grabbed individually and or that the match can't end until both are down. So theoretically, it seems like they're splitting the belts. So we can use that as a basis. We've got DIY, the Awesome Truth, the New Day, the New Catch Republic, the Austin Theory and Grayson Waller tag team, which is what Aussie Down Under, or what's the A Town Down Under? That's what it is.
Yeah.
And then the Judgment Day. Who do you see winning? How do you see it happening? JMan, you
Oh
first.
Lord, that match just seems to be total chaos. So I'm
Truly.
guessing not Team R-Truth because he seems to be confused hilariously by ladder matches. So
Yeah.
I'll just go with JD. They seem to put them over and everything, and
Okay.
yeah, so I'll just go with that.
All right. Sheik.
So if they are splitting the belts the way, so I know that's like it's one of those you can interpret it in multiple ways,
Right.
but just throwing this out there, I could totally see like say Finn or what is it? Miss Senior Money in the Bank.
Damian Priest.
Damien. I was like, yeah, I could see Damien or him grabbing a belt, and then R-Truth grabbing the other one, and then being like, "Hey,
Yes.
hi, yeah, I'm part of the Judgment Day. We're a team," and then and then
Mhm.
pulling the, "You're not part of the team," blah blah blah. So I could see that antic going on for a little bit longer, and just throwing that in there for hilarity.
I
Um,
agree.
but if they are gonna like, if it's gonna be two separate but like I said, if it's not gonna be individuals, but it's gonna be like teams, um, I could definitely see it being the Judgment Day having one set of belts and DIY winning the other.
Yeah. I hope they're splitting them. I mean, there's been no reason. Like at least with Romans, they finally just made it one belt and created the
Mhm.
consolation belt. But with the tag team, like they're carrying around four belts all the time. It's like, why? Just pick one or whatever. So if they're splitting them, I'm hoping for DIY and the Awesome Truth, but I also think that R-Truth needs to be totally confused, get one of the belts and like hand it to Priest, or maybe that's how they're gonna win. It's not R-Truth turning on Miz. It's just R-Truth got really confused again, and he's like, "Yay, we did it!" 100%. Quick thoughts: Jay versus Jimmy Uso. Yeet versus Team No Yeet. Are you Team Yeet or Team No Yeet?
I'll go first on this one. Look, I'm gonna go with Team Yeet on this one. The amount of just response that he gets
Yeah.
is unbelievable. I actually went to Raw back in Dallas, in Dallas recently, and I mean like everybody. I mean not everybody, but like I would say probably a good like 95% of the crowd was doing the yeet yeet yeet, thing along with them. So I think it's going to be Jay in this in for that match.
Yep. I'm
Jay
Team
almost
Yeet.
beat Roman, subject to interference from, I think it was Solo interfered, if you
Yeah.
recall. I think Jay is going to win this one, and I think he'll win it clean too. So,
Yeah, I think he needs to. And
yeah,
and
yeah,
congrats on them for the two brothers getting one of their dreams because they've wanted to fight each other at WrestleMania, at least as far as I've been told, for a while.
yeah.
Intercontinental Championship match, Sammy versus Gunther. Does the record-breaking streak end at
No,
WrestleMania?
no. Gunther's a monster. He's not going to lose to Sammy. Sorry.
Okay.
You
Cheek?
know, for somebody who wanted more Canadians in the game, why are
I
you on
know.
Sammy?
I know. I'd love to see it. I would love to see it, but I love Gunther too, and he's just OP. And I like them keeping him that way.
Yeah. So I know a lot of people are saying that like this should have been Chad Gable
Uh,
versus Gunter and letting Chad finally win it.
I agree.
Um, so I don't want to throw like a 50-50. I don't want to like be wishy-washy on every single thing. Look, I could totally see Sammy winning this one, and then, with the whole like, oh, you're not the underdog anymore. Um, but on the same token, like I could see Sammy losing. I'm sorry, winning, and then Gunter challenging for one of the WWE championships at SummerSlam.
Yeah,
But I could also equally see Gunter winning and holding it for a little while longer. And I'm hoping, and I know I'm talking like long-term booking. I'm hoping that Gunter wins the next Royal Rumble or Money in the Bank match and goes to be a main event contender.
I agree.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree. I think Gunther retains and they have an upset on the Raw after Mania as a way to start. I think Ilya Dragunov debuts on the Raw after Mania and wins the belt. And so he gets it through Mania, and then all of a sudden, hopefully, in my fantasy booking, it's Gunther versus Cody for the undisputed. And I think, well, we'll get there in a minute. So we've got 14 minutes to get through
Oh
the
yeah.
next
Yeah.
card, but the big one from Saturday is Cody Rhodes and Seth freaking Rollins against Roman Reigns and The Rock. This is the tone setter for
Yeah.
WrestleMania Sunday.
Mhm.
Who do we got, Sheik?
You see, this is the one that, like, you can love about wrestling to be like, this is going to be I think this is the most unpredictable match
Yeah.
on the card, period.
Right.
Because there is no one way that you could call it and be like, oh yeah, nope, that's the way, that's what's going to happen. Because it could be Seth, turning on Cody. It could be
I
Rock,
love that.
turning on Roman. Cody and Seth can win. Rock and Roman can win. I mean, like, this one is like, this one I still is like the whole, like, I don't know. I really don't know. Um, if I had to give my prediction on it, I think that The Rock and Roman are going to win, and then Cody's going to have backup to take care of the bloodline on Sunday.
Mhm.
Okay. JMan?
I think the Rock and Roman winning gives the most heat going into day two.
Yep.
And so like that's the way I see it going. I think they're gonna maximize the intensity for that day two match. So it doesn't really, I guess you could do like the hopeful, oh, Cody won night one, so night two, here we go. But I think the most heat comes from Rock and Roman winning maybe a little dirty
Right.
on night one, and then everyone's like, oh, now Cody's got to get him, right? So that's the way I see it going.
I think that serves the story the best if they lose, because then Seth loses on night two, and then he starts a story where he has fallen down. He was the best. He's, got to rebuild himself. Whereas Cody has an immediate, I've got to win night two. And I think that puts him on two different paths. And then Seth's heel turn down the road if they want to do Cody and Seth again and again and again. So I actually
Mhm.
missed one though. The women's championship match is actually supposed to be on Saturday. I thought it was Sunday. Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley.
Yeah,
Thoughts there?
I was gonna bring that up. I didn't want to interrupt because I was like,
No,
oh,
you're
you
good.
one? Yeah, I think Rhea's retaining.
Me too.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see any benefit of letting Bex win this. Rhea's got to keep steam rolling.
Hmm. Well, I'll take the divergent position then. Maybe it's just because Becky Lynch is, I mean, top five wrestlers ever on my card, but I think she wins, and I think they set up something with Becky and Tiffany's as the next program. I know that they both are faces and all that, but I think that they've proven that those two can work together, and that'll be a good way to bring Tiffy time up and give her like an immediate pop. Because yeah, you've got, I mean, Rhea, the dominant champion. If you put Tiffy versus her, then you kind of have to either protect Rhea or destroy Rhea, or otherwise Tiffany just looks really weak coming in. So mine is all predicated around Tiffany Stratton coming up on the Raw
Mhm.
after Mania. If that doesn't happen, it's null and void.
Mhm.
But night two, Philadelphia street fight, Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits versus the Final Testament. So the Pride and the Final Testament. Is this your bathroom break match or anybody interested?
Not really too much interest in
Yeah,
this one. I like Lashley here. He's looked really strong in the last few matches. Let's go with that.
Okay.
yeah. Here's the thing. Like, I think Cross needs to win more.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm only gonna give it to him for that. But I love Lashley and the Street Profits. It's just like Cross is floundering right now, and I think
Big
like
time.
I think I think he needs the win more than anything. So that's the main reason why I'm giving it to him is yeah, he just it's like, he's just like he's a wheel in mud. He can't just can't just get that traction to get out.
Right. Yeah, I this is the one where I've got 50-50 booking because I one don't care, and it's sad because Bobby Lashley is one of my favorites, and I really thought that they were going to go in with a new Hurt Business with the
Mhm.
Street Profits, and they just haven't done that. It's been very lackluster. I would love to see Montez Ford become a world champion level character. I don't care for Karrion Kross, but I really like AOP. I liked their "we're the new Road Warriors" kind of a feel. But yeah, if they're, I mean, if Karrion Kross doesn't get something out of this round, I think he's done. I don't see a way to believe in him as anything more than the guy who lost to Jeff Hardy in 30 seconds on his debut. That's his legacy otherwise. So
Yeah.
speaking of, yeah, we've got LA Knight and AJ Styles. Spoilers, I'll go first on this one because I legitimately think this will be my match of the night. AJ
Right.
Styles is incapable of having a bad match, it seems like, and LA Knight has always been missing that thing that takes him in the in-ring side of things to the next level. So if you could combine the showboat nature of LA Knight with the in-ring prowess of AJ Styles, legitimately that could be the best. Like if that were one hybrid human, it'd be the best human that ever lived. But I think AJ is intentionally going to elevate LA Knight to a
Yeah,
level that we haven't seen to platform him going forward.
agreed.
Yeah,
It doesn't
I agree
hurt
with you.
AJ to not win this match. Everyone knows
Right.
he's great. Everyone knows he's a Hall of Fame wrestler.
Yeah.
LA Knight's been jobbing for like 3 of the last 4 pay-per-views. He's got to win one, and he's got to win big.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's kind of like, okay, how many times can I watch him lose? You know,
Right. Yep. Cheek.
Yeah, I totally agree to that. And also, did you see their fight at the presser today?
No. I've been making champs content. I missed it all.
Oh yeah. Oh no. So at one of the AJ was doing an interview at one of the pressers, and then LA Knight came, and of course they had a tumble. But the thing is that like it was really like the punches were like the lamest. Whenever you get a chance to see it, it's like it was lame punches, and they were basically just like rolling around on the floor. And I don't know what happened, but apparently, like I don't know if AJ broke his nose or he just got bloodied, but like he
Uh-oh.
took his shirt off and then, like he was like wiping his blood, wiping the blood. And I promise you, this is a PG podcast, but a word that rhymes with wussy was thrown out, and also the term a word that rhymes with buck, as in a deer, was thrown out at each other. So
Wow.
well done
Wow. So
keeping it
who broke
PG
whose
there.
nose? Who was bloody?
AJ.
AJ
Yeah,
was bloody.
I don't know. I don't know if he just like if he broke his nose, or if they were just like just when they were rolling around, like might have caught a knee or an elbow somewhere. But
Gotcha.
yeah, it's
Gotcha. Okay. Nice. Well, I just think this one's so because LA Knight could talk circles around AJ and AJ
Mhm.
could out wrestle anyone. This is just the most like
yeah.
if these two can click, this
Mhm.
could be the WrestleMania match that we look back on and go, that's when LA Knight became a real thing.
For
So
sure.
we'll see. Speaking of real things,
Mhm.
Logan Paul, the prime champion of the United States, is up against Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. Who you
Come on.
got?
Is there any doubt whatsoever Logan Paul is going to retain? I mean, if he doesn't retain, then what? He definitely needs to use brass knuckles too. I mean, I'll be sorely disappointed if I don't see that angle again. I don't really think it hurts Orton or KO to not win this, but
Right.
yeah, I just hope for a good match. Which Logan Paul, whatever you feel about him, he puts on amazing in ring product for
Yep.
high flying moves.
Yep. I was talking to somebody earlier today who doesn't watch wrestling, but was knocking on Jake Paul, Logan Paul, the Paul brothers on stuff. And we got to talking about wrestling, and I just said, the thing that people have learned to hate the most about Logan Paul is that he became rookie of the year and legitimately is having the same level of matches as the guys who have been on an elite level, like, and finally got there after 10, 20, 30 years of their career. And he just started there. So you got to, come on. Sheik, where you at?
So I don't see Randy Orton winning this one, personally.
Please no.
And then what I think is going to happen is Logan Paul is more than likely going to retain here. Or, like, how like the progression of things happen. So Logan Paul used the brass knucks, won 1 month, right? And then KO took the knucks, got
One
disqualified,
disqualified, yeah.
and then, like that's gonna happen. And then has it happened yet where the whole like he takes the brass knucks and then Logan Paul gets another set and then knocks him out? So
I
I
don't
think,
think so.
yeah, so like because I've seen stuff like this before where it's like bad guy uses the foreign object or whatever and then wins, and then the good guy gets it but then he gets disqualified because the ref sees it, and then it's because you remember how like when Regal had the power of the punch, like they would take away the knucks and then he would magically have another set. I think
Right.
that's what's going to happen this time. And
Mhm.
then maybe the next time is going to be okay, that's it, that's where he loses. So that's what I think is going to happen here.
Okay. All right. Well then, women's championship match, Io, Sky, and Bailey. And I'm not cutting us short, but we got 10 minutes to cover the two big ones. So let's not overlook Io and Bailey the way WWE has, but what are your
Yeah.
thoughts?
Oh yeah, I'm keeping an eye on the clock because I understand that we're on we have a time limit on this one.
Well, for those who are questioning, why do they keep saying like we're about to be streaming on the live channel for Champions? And so, I mean, it's inevitability. But keep
Yeah,
going, Sheik. You got
yeah.
this.
Oh yeah, it's all good. But yeah, I got Bailey in this one. I love Bailey. Bailey is my favorite of the four horsewomen, and she's among some of my favorite female wrestlers of all time. So
Nice.
I hope that it's Bailey.
I think Bailey as well. They're kind of setting her up to break off and go kind of more solo again.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think Bailey wins this too.
I think specifically it's a Hug a Bailey thing. I think she comes out in her entrance with the inflatables, and Rusty called it last week the side pony, the Napoleon Dynamite hair. I
Yeah.
think that's where we're going. All right. World Heavyweight Championship match, Seth freaking Rollins and Drew McIntyre, who I've got to say has become my favorite promo and most interesting person to watch
hmm
this last couple months. So, who you got to win, JMan?
Oh man, Drew's put on some fantastic matches. By the way, that match against Gunther was amazing.
Oh
He's had a
yeah,
lot of amazing matches, but it feels like he's always jobbing in the pay-per-views. He's got to win one for me to take him seriously as a huge Scottish monster.
yeah,
So I'm gonna go contrarian here. I'm gonna say Drew finally gets one.
Yeah, I think Drew needs to win this one. I think he should have won the last time that they had their encounter.
agreed.
Uh, I thought I mean, in my opinion, I thought they dropped the ball with it, and if Drew doesn't win it this time, I think that that's going to be a serious blow to his credibility as a top person
Yeah.
to
Yep.
lose the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh time to Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, if he loses, I think his time in the company is done, and that's the statement. There's all this question mark: is he going to resign? Has he resigned? Blah blah blah. Yeah, I see Drew McIntyre taking that belt. I think that this is where Damian Priest does the cash in,
Oh,
and I
yes.
think that then Drew becomes next level angry, and you've got Drew and Priest as your next build until
Mhm.
CM Punk is back, and then you've got champion Drew versus champion versus Punk, maybe at SummerSlam or whatever that is. And then the last one, the undisputed WWE Universal Championship, Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns, 2 years in a row, will we see another rubber duck,
Oh man.
plastic
Do you,
chicken, whatever it was
do you
thrown in the
not
ring?
feel like at a certain point you got to give the fans what they want? I mean, you give it to Roman again, or he wins with some cheesy interference again, everyone's gonna walk off this event like, all right. If Cody wins, the pop would be huge.
Yeah,
Um, I think he's earned it. You've set him up with 2 back-to-back Rumble wins. Like he's got to win this one, does he not? I mean,
sure hope
how
so.
long can you keep jobbing fans over on kind of what they want for Cody, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I completely agree. I think that, I mean, I know we keep talking about credibility. If Cody doesn't finish the story here, I I'm gonna stop caring about the story, honestly. Like
Yep.
because I mean, like, even if they're like, oh well, it's like even if he wins it at SummerSlam or something, I'm gonna stop caring, because I'm gonna be like, it's like, it's been 2 years at this point. Why?
Right.
Why is this still going on? You can only keep a storyline going for so long, even with long-term booking. You're
Yeah.
gonna lose people at some point, and you're gonna lose me if
Right.
Cody doesn't win.
Yeah, I mean, I'm that way with the Bloodline storyline. If Rock turns on Roman, which is my prediction, and they set up 41 as Rock versus Roman, I think that that could be fine, because then you can carry the Bloodline storyline, but it's not the A storyline, it's the B storyline. And I've said it before, and surprisingly, Rusty's the one that disagrees with me, even though he's trying to get me to love Cody as much as he does. If Cody loses, I have a hard time believing in Cody. I have a hard time caring that he's, and I honestly don't want to see him in the world championship picture. Honestly, he's a mid-carder at that point to me.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
J-Man, you called it out, for somebody who's won 2 back-to-back Royal Rumbles, something that they've only allowed Shawn Michaels, Hulk Hogan, and Steve Austin to do. He is in a club of 4 people where those are the other names. And then what? Roman beats Hogan's record, great. But then, okay, that's not the
Nobody
top one.
cares
Then you got to
about,
go after
yeah,
Sammartino. Are we going to let him be the champion for 7 years?
yeah, no
I don't know.
chance. No chance of that.
No chance. Yeah, we can't say that chant anymore. So thank you guys so much for being a part of this podcast. Would you go ahead, Sheik and J-Man both, would you go ahead and just chant. Would you share where people can find you, share your channel information, and encourage everyone, I encourage everyone, subscribe to these guys. They're awesome. Watch their content. Don't skip the ads. Put them on YouTube overnight while you're sleeping, so that they get some benefit out of you just watching them in the background passively, and engage in the comment section. All right, J-Man, you first, then Sheik, you take us out.
Well, appreciate you having me on in the convo. Yeah, hit me up on YouTube, Great JMan Gaming. Would love to see you there. I'll be rolling out some more content, and yeah, maybe I'll twist Shiki's rubber arm, and we'll do some more collabs, or I'll be on with you again, Lee, doing some character reviews. That would be awesome. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm on Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff at IronSheik84. So if you want some WWE Champions action and also other stuff, please, give me a follow. It's free, and if you like the content, keep on subscribing, and don't forget, when I think of WWE Champions, I always think of youtube.com/ Champions Chat Podcast. That's, yeah. So make sure you give them a subscribe as well. They're only at 1.41 K. Let's try to get them up to 2 before the end of the summer.
That would be awesome. Yeah. Can we climb the hill to 1 million subscribers? Oh, that's at Wrestle Talks things. Never mind. But also be sure to check us out on Friday nights. We're going to be doing the power rankings every week for that week's character. Or in this case, 2. Next week, 2, because we got double characters each week. And you get to be a part of that conversation. Help us as a community figure out where each character fits in the meta and on your roster so that others can kind of know a little bit better what they're doing. Thanks for being here with us today. And be sure to be good to one another because this is an awesome community. We'll see you next time. Bye.